Can you guys see my screen now?
It's loading. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, alhamdulillah. So you'll continue chapter 2, okay? We guys learned in the last session about classification and means grouping similar things in one group, like the animals. And here we have 5 kingdoms. We have a kingdom for animals, a kingdom for plants. Guys, I will try to mute you because some of you are making noise. Okay. We have a kingdom for fungi, a kingdom for protists, and bacteria. We have how many kingdoms, guys? Can you count it for me?
5.
Yes, 5 kingdoms. That's right. And a kingdom is the major group of classification. Like it's the biggest group. Okay. So when we start with kingdom, we actually have something bigger than that. We call it domain. But you guys not studying about this. We're starting with kingdoms. But domain is the largest group because it's made up of we have 2 domains. We have a domain for um, um, organisms with real nucleus and organisms with something that looks like nucleus but it's not real. What we call them prokaryotic, or those with a primitive nucleus. And we have another domain for eukaryotic, and that means organisms with a real nucleus. But this part is just for your information, guys. You are starting with kingdom, okay? So we have 5 kingdoms, and you guys know that scientists classified the organisms for many reasons, and one of those reasons is to, share information, easier to have more information, more detailed information about each organism. Okay. So again, the major group is called kingdom. We have, we can say 5 kingdoms. Some people say they are 6, but we are studying about 5 this year. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a kingdom for fungi, and the most famous example of a fungi is the mushroom, of course. Okay, but not all fungi are multicellular like this. Like all of them are many-celled. Okay, but most of them are many-celled. I'm sorry, most of them are many-celled, not all of them. So some of them are unicellular. So we can say that fungi could be many-celled or unicellular. Like some of them, we can see them with our naked eyes, like the mushroom in here, like mold. But others are, unicellular. You can only see them in groups. Okay. Can you guys tell me how do fungi like feed? How do they get their food? How do you think fungi get their food, guys?
Do they eat
Okay,
the
we
plants?
have 2 people raising their hands. Yes, look.
Get their food from the underground.
From the
From
underground, like plants.
yeah,
Okay, so we have one thought in here. What about you, Amgad?
they grow on dead animals and dead plants.
Okay, thank you, Amgad, for your thought.
Miss, maybe they grow like the plants
Okay, so we
from
have
under the
Shluk and
ground first.
Guessing that they grow like plants, and Amgad said that they feed from the dead plants and animals. Well, fungi look like plants. I mean, you can say that they look like them, like physically from the outside, but fungi cannot make their own food like plants. Plants make their own food by a process called photosynthesis. We learned about this last year, that they use the sunlight, the carbon dioxide, water to make sugar, which is their food, and oxygen, which is a waste they do not need. But like Amgad said, thank you, Amgad, they do feed or absorb their food from the remains of dead plants and animals. Okay, so we will watch two videos at the end of this session. One video explaining about fungi and how do they feed, and the other video will be about how do whales feed their babies under the water, because Esther asked about this last session. So I hope Esther is with us today. Is Esther with us, guys? I hope he will join us soon. Anyway, back to what we were saying. We also have bacteria, which is unicellular organisms that do not have nucleus, by the way. That's why they have their own kingdom. If you guys looked in this picture, let me um, share the book again. If you looked in this picture, you will find in the five kingdoms, we have a kingdom for bacteria. We can call them Moniratu. And there is another kingdom called Protest, and both kingdoms are microscopic organisms, or the organisms we can only see under the microscope. So why didn't we include bacteria under kingdom Protest, or put Protest with bacteria? And that because bacteria, guys, do not have nucleus. So their genetic information, or whatever is inside the nucleus is actually swimming in the cytoplasm. So they do not have nucleus again. So that made them so special that they put them in their own group. Okay? But Protest is the group for other microscopic organisms. Okay? But those microscopic organisms have nucleus in them. Okay? So again, guys, bacteria do not have nucleus. Can you guys see what I'm highlighting here? So bacteria are all one-celled. What makes them special is that they do not have nucleus. Okay? Some of them feed like fungi, others make their own food like plants.
Plants.
Yes. So there is a question, what is a kingdom? We can say a kingdom is the major large groups, or scientists put the kingdom as the biggest group. How they start their classification. We start with a kingdom. Okay, how do kingdoms of living things or living organisms differ? How they are different? So we have a kingdom for animals, and animals make their own food. Do you think animals make their own food, or they need to hunt?
They need to hunt,
That's right. So the animals cannot make their own food.
but plants
Um,
can.
Yes, but plants can, because plants have chloroplasts in their cells that help them absorb the sunlight, and they have holes in their leaves that help them breathe in carbon dioxide. We have another kingdom for fungi, which actually look like plants. They look like plants, but they act like animals. They absorb their food. They can't make their own food. So basically, fungi share things with both plants and animals. They look like plants. So this is sharing in the physical structure, but and they can't move like plants too. They cannot move. They stand still. But they also share things with animals, is that they absorb their food. They can't make their own food by the process called photosynthesis like plants do, which means that their cells do not have chloroplasts in them. Okay? So scientists were confused. Where should we put them? Should we put them with animals or plants? So to make it a lot easier, they made a whole kingdom for fungi. Okay, guys?
Miss, I have a question.
Yes, we have two people raising their hands. Yes, Shlok and Am. Yes, Am.
Uh, the fungi
Yes,
doesn't grow up like the plants.
it grows up. So you think the mushroom used to be like this? Okay, I will stop
Yes.
sharing my screen for a moment. and I will show you how do they grow up. Just give me a moment. Okay. Sorry guys, I had a problem with the internet connection before joining the session, so that's why not most of the things are ready. So I hope you guys can see my screen right now. Can you guys see them?
Yes.
Yes, can you see how they are growing? Let me show to you a lot better in here. Can you see them now? Yeah. So they do grow on, yes. They start with things like microscopic things that look like seeds, but they are not seeds, of course, because they are not plants.
So Miss, they was confused to put it in the plants also.
Yes,
Plant
because
cell
they do
because
look like
they are
plants a
growing.
lot. Yes, because they look like plants so much. If you actually did not know the difference between them, that you would think they are plants because they kind of have a stem, and we can consider this red top like flower or something. So they were confused. They do look like plants. They do not move like plants. But when they discovered about their cells and how their cells did not have nucleus inside of them, that made them okay, yes, understand now that no, plants and fungi maybe share things, but they are not the same thing. Um, because fungi cannot make their own food, and maybe we should put them with animals. But then they discovered, well, animals need to move and hunt. I'm sorry, they need to move to hunt and get their food, but fungi do not do that. They just stand there, absorb their food from the remains of the plants and animals, and that's it. So they put them in a whole kingdom for them, just because how they look different and how many species we had was really confusing for them. Okay,
Okay, Miss.
so we'll move to the next part. But before moving, guys, we have here. Can you see these levels? Let me zoom in. So we have kingdom, which is the biggest group, and then we have phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. Can you choose the species at the end?
Yes.
Yes. Well, this is a word means a unique kind of organism, like humans, for example. We are a
Kind
unique
of.
kind of organism. If you looked at this picture, it will make it more obvious. So we start with the kingdom again. Can you see, guys, how kingdom is filled with a lot of animals? Because this is kingdom animalia or kingdom animals, kingdom for animals. You can see how many animals we have in this kingdom. Those are, of course, examples. We have more of that. Okay, when I say phylum, guys, you can see that butterfly was not included in phylum. Can you see? We still have fish, whale, bear, tiger, the wild cat, and house cat. Can you see?
Yes, Miss.
Yes,
Why do you think, guys,
because
we had to remove the butterfly?
it has
Because
no back.
There's something that all these animals share while butterfly do not. Well,
Miss,
yes,
all of them doesn't.
bone.
All of them.
yes.
The butterfly has no backbone.
Okay, I'm good. Thank you so much. Yes, those one, two, three, four, five, and six animals share something, which is the backbone. All of them have backbone. While the butterfly is an insect, and insects belong to the invertebrates, or what we call animals without
No
backbone.
backbone.
Okay, so if we move to less groups, so we have phylum and then we have class. And in this class, you will find that we have only whales. We have a bear, a tiger, a wild cat, and
House cat.
house cat. All of those share something. is that they are all mammals. They feed their babies with milk and they give birth, while fish was
Miss,
excluded from
how
this
is the whale
group.
mammal?
Yes,
How is the whale mammal?
whales are mammals actually. This is a big surprise for you.
Yes.
Okay, you will know now how they are mammals. They actually hold their breath for more than an hour under the water and then they move up to the surface so they can take a breath. And they do not have the same structure of a fish. They do have a fin, they do have a back fin, and they do swim in the
But
water.
they do have a little fur. So,
But what?
like, they have little fur, not much.
They have a
Not
fur
much.
covering their body? No, they do have fur covering their body.
They don't have.
But they do have skin, but they do not have scales like the fish. Fish are covered with scales. So we will go to the point why whales are mammals, okay? But now just let me continue this. So you will
Miss,
see, guys, how fish are excluded from the
Husna,
class group because now we are talking only about mammals or the animals that feed their babies with milk.
Husna,
Yes?
you say that you will get a video to the whale.
Yes, I said that at the beginning. Yeah. ايوه يا عدي, what is the question?
بس حضرتك شغلتيه.
No, I said at the end of the
At the end
of
of the
the
shift.
of the session because if I يعني played it in the middle of the session, I will not be able to upload the whole session because of the copyrights. You will watch it at the end. I
Okay.
remember this, and Asa is with us now, thank God. Because Asa was the one who asked about this. He wanted to see how whales feed their babies and they are swimming at the same time. So we will watch a video about that, and let me just continue so we can have time to watch the video. So you guys can see how fish was excluded because fish do not give birth, right? And they cannot feed their babies with milk. So they are actually excluded because in this phylum, this one, we are only talking about the mammals. Okay? You can see,
Okay.
guys, that after this, we get closer and closer to having only one animal included. Can you see?
Yes.
Yes, so after being mammals, we still get less and less in the group, and you can see how they get similar in shape. Like they share more characteristics. Can you see?
Yes.
Yes, they share more features. You can see at the end we only have a cat, but before that we still have
One species.
wild cat. Can you see the wild cat? And house
Yes.
cat because both of them share a lot of things. Lions, tigers also belong to the same family
Yes.
as cats. Yes. So you can see here in this group, this is family. Okay. So can you see how they all belong to the same family and they all share a lot of features, by the way. At the end, we have only one organism, which is the house
One
cat. House
species.
cats have a scientific name called Felis domesticus. Domesticus means domestic, like we can raise them at home. Okay?
Okay.
And the wild cat is actually named Felis
Felispa.
bardalis. Can you see the difference? But both of them share a name. Can you see? Both of them share the
Felis.
name Felis, yes. And this is the genus. This is the name of the genus, okay? But Domesticus and Bardalis is actually
Species.
their species name. Yes, that's right. Like your own name. So we can say we have a big family of, for example, let's say, who is one with a famous name in this group? Okay, we have Duane, for example. When I say Duane, well, we have a lot of, we have a lot of students called Duane in the school, right? We have Yasin, we have Muhammad, and I don't know if we have more than that, but I know Muhammad and Yasin. But when I say Yasin Duane, so I mean Yasin, right? But when I say Duane, it's a general one. It's the whole family,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yes, but when I say Yasin or Muhammad, now I made it more specific. So it's the same here. When I say genus, it's the family, or we can say it's, more of a group name, because now we have different animals under the same genus. But when I say species, you have only one
One
special
organ.
animal. Okay, if you move fast into this PowerPoint, we will talk now. It's lesson 2, by the way. We will talk about the first group of animals, which is the vertebrates. In lesson 2, you will guys study about vertebrates and invertebrates. And this is actually interesting because I like this lesson. It's talking mainly about animals, which is so fun. So you guys learned that kingdom Animalia is actually divided into two groups. It's vertebrates and invertebrates, animals with backbone, which we call vertebrates. It's from the word vertebra, which means backbone. And the invertebrates are the animals without
Without.
backbone. Again, why do plants divide them into two groups? To make it a lot easier for them to study them. Okay? So it's a lot easier to study them. So when I want to say, okay, I want to study about snails, now I know that snails belong to the invertebrates. So I will not have to search among all the animals, right? Now I have specific group to search between. This is another example of all the invertebrates, like sea star, the squid, the insects, of course. Do you know that spiders are not insects? They do not belong to the same group.
Yes.
Now
Because they
let's
have
start with vertebrates. Today, inshallah, we will talk about vertebrates only. So animals with backbone can be divided into 5 groups. So we also dividing into the vertebrates because we have many and many and many vertebrates animals, right? We have a lot of vertebrates. So to make it easier to study them, what do we do?
we put them in groups.
Yes, that's right. We put them in groups. Yes, Dane, you raised your hand.
Miss, how snakes have a backbone?
Yes, they have a flexible backbone. Let me show you something. I will stop sharing now and show it to you. Backbone. Share my screen with you right now. Just in here. Can you see my screen now?
Yes. Uh,
Let me zoom it for you. Can you see now? This is the backbone of a snake.
all of
Oh,
this.
Yeah, can you see how their backbones are so flexible? This is a big confusing thing because when I was young, like in your age or maybe younger, I used to think that snakes do not have backbone because they can move like so smoothly, right? But
Yes.
actually, what makes
yes.
them so flexible, like they can stand up straight sometimes, like cobra, for example, before attacking, you can see it standing up, right?
Yeah.
Yes. What enables them to do this movement is actually having a backbone. Without that, they would be so like a jelly, a jelly substance, like a jelly object. So backbone is the one that gives them the structure you can guys see. So let's move
Yeah.
faster now because the session will end soon. So we have mammals, we have birds, fish, amphibians, and reptiles. Let's talk about each one. Start with mammals. You can see here a cow feeding its baby with milk, which is the main feature for mammals, is that they feed their babies with
Well,
milk. This is a very important thing because none of the other animals feed their babies with milk like mammals. And they give
Yes.
birth, they do not lay eggs, which is also another feature that is only found in mammals because other
Yeah, the
animals
mammal.
lay eggs, they cannot give birth to their babies, okay? Some of them are covered with hair, others are covered with fur, and they are warm blooded. What do we mean by warm blooded? Is that they kind of have a certain body temperature, like their body temperature is specific. So
Miss, we are
that,
mammals, yes?
yes,
We are mammals.
yes, we are mammals. Humans are included in mammals, yes, because we
So, Miss,
give
how we
birth
are
and we,
mammals? How we
yes,
are mammals and we are not animals?
that we are animals. When we say animals in here, is it Amr asking the question?
Yes.
We are
Yes,
mammals.
animals does not mean we are like cursing each other. Animals mean that we share things with animals, and we can say that we only belong to one kingdom. Like we cannot make a kingdom for humans only because we share a lot of things with animals. So when they started classifying humans, they felt okay, animals means that they share more characteristics with each other. So when we say animals now, like after learning about classification, when you say animals now, you do not mean only animals, like acting widely. You know now that even humans belong to animals. Okay?
Yes.
So it is only the name for the kingdom. Does not mean like we are animals, like in a bad
Miss dog.
thing, but we share characteristics with them. So guys, I'll have to move a little bit faster because we only have 10 minutes. Um,
Miss
so what I mean by warm blooded is that they, again, they have certain body temperature, so they can
Temperature.
feel how cold or hot it is around them. We have the second group talking about birds, and birds have feathers, they lay eggs, and they are also warm blooded. And having feathers is another specific structure or feature for the birds. Reptiles like lizards, turtles, crocodiles are all cold blooded. So we only have two groups that are warm blooded, birds and mammals, okay? Reptiles, amphibians, and fish are all cold blooded. So cold blooded means that their body temperature can adjust or can be cold if the weather is cold or can be hot if the weather is hot. So they do not feel the difference. They cannot feel if it's cold or hot. They actually have a body temperature that is the same as the surrounding. Of course, they lay eggs because now we know that only mammals give birth, so all the other animals lay eggs, and they do have dry skin. Yes, guys, we have three people raising their hands. Yes,
Miss dogs are mammals.
yes, Delaney.
Dogs are mammals.
Dogs? You mean dogs?
Dogs.
Like, yes, dogs are mammals. Yes, of course. Tahir? Oh, Tanahi?
Okay, Miss,
Yes?
why does snake when he gets out of stung?
I can't hear you well.
يعني بس لما التعبان ده بيطلع لسانه وفي حاجة بتحصل في رقبته بتدخل
Okay,
كده.
this is another question. Maybe if we have extra time, I would have showed you a video about this, but we don't actually have an extra time. Okay, so let me just move a little bit faster now, Tanahi, and if you still have time, we'll watch a video about this. You're talking about this movement, the how they get their tongue out. Well, it's a way for them to sense the surroundings, actually.
I mean the
And of course, snakes belong to reptiles also. You can say
Yeah,
that
Miss.
you can see
قصدي
that their bodies are covered with also scales, but those are dry scales. So both fish and reptiles share something. Both of them are covered with scales, but the reptiles covered with dry scales. The amphibians, which is the biggest group, like the one with more features, because when they are young, like when they get out from the egg, they start living in the water, but then they grow lungs when they become adults and
And
start
the
living
land.
inland on land. Yes. You can say how smooth and moist their skin is, and of course, they lay eggs. The fish, of course, lay eggs. We all know about that. And they are covered with, guys, most of you, some of you guys are talking and I cannot hear you. I'm sorry, I have to move a little bit faster. So they kind of have a moist skin covered with in scales. So guys, if the meeting ends, please come back again so you can watch the video together, okay? They can breathe with gills. They can breathe with gills, not lungs, okay? So you guys now see an animal and guess if it's a mammal, reptile, amphibian. What is it? Okay. What do you guys this is?
Mammal.
Mammal.
Yes,
Mammal.
it's a mammal. That's right. Yes, it's a mammal. It's covered with fur, gives birth, and also feed their babies with milk. What do you think this is? This is actually a bat. What do you
Mammal.
think bats
Bird.
are?
Mammal.
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 Okay. Why don't you guys think they are birds? I mean, they have
Because
wings.
Because they
because
give
bird.
birth.
No, but
Yes,
because
that's
they
right.
give
Because
birth.
they give birth. Yes, that's right. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Because they give birth
Miss and the
and
penguin.
they feed their babies with milk. So having
Miss
the
and the
ability
penguin.
to fly or having wings is not a characteristic or feature that only belongs to birds. Okay?
Mammal.
There are other animals that can fly that they are not birds, which is the bats, and they are mammals, yes. Their bodies actually are covered with hair and they do not lay eggs. Okay. Of
Mammal.
course, elephant is a mammal. It's so
Mammal.
big to have an egg for an elephant, right? So yes, they are so covered with hairs. If you stand close to them, like if you try to touch them or just look closely at their skin, you'll find that they are covered with hair, and of course, they do not lay eggs. An owl,
Bird.
Bird.
yes, it's a
Bird.
Bird.
bird. Yes, that's right. It's covered with feathers and of course lay eggs and
Reptile.
these eggs will
Reptile. Ayun.
Reptile.
Reptile.
reptile. That's right. Yes, they are reptile because their bodies are covered with dry scales and they lay eggs. What do you think whales
Whale.
are? Well, whales
Mammal.
Mammal.
are
Mammal.
mammals.
Mammal. Mammal. Mammal.
So
Mammal.
yes, yes, I know, guys. Now you know it. So I'll try to. I will bring you guys a video now. So the session is almost over. I will bring you a video now showing how whales do feed. Feed their babies under the water. Okay. Do you guys have any questions before moving?
No.
No.
Okay. So I will
We
now
will watch
end
it
the
only for
recording.
10 minutes.